Let's go. And we are live. Welcome to Brainstorm Blast number 7. This is a special one because I have another friend on here. But first and foremost, I am your host, Miguel. I'm with my co-host, Zeke from Jibbaja, aka GBG, aka World Champion. Say what's up, bro?
What's up, bro? We going live right now. Say what up, Miguel. You on the fucking right now, bro. We live, guys. Check it
out. And we have a special guest in the building. By building, I mean virtual building. Johnson Sanders. That's his name. Say what's up to the people.
What's up, people?
Yeah, bro. You hardly even an introduction because the video that you're like on my YouTube channel already for one.
Yeah.
And
oh my gosh.
People love that video.
Really?
Yeah,
and people like it?
People like it. They said you're funny.
Yes. Watch out. That's hard to be funny, man. That's hard to be funny, man.
Well, whatever you're doing, it's working because I even just laughed. So,
thank you.
Thank you. Man. I'm happy to have you in the building. I guess like for the couple of people who may be like new or something like that and they aren't aware of exactly who you are, go ahead and give like your elevator pitch. Who is Keyshawn Johnson Sanders?
Elevator pitch. So I'm gonna tell them straight up. I don't have like an elevator pitch. You know what I mean? I think it's kind of too premeditated. But basically, I'm a dude from, I don't want to say the hood, but dude from not the best or most progressive background. And I was able to get out of there through sports, academics, and networking. So yeah, that's basically it. And now I work with Brandon Carter. I've been following around the world. He's been teaching people how to build their online fitness business, and we basically doing just a bunch of crazy stuff. That's basically it. If you want like to go in depth, I would say look at that video. That'd be better.
That'd be better if you definitely want an in-depth explanation on like his entire life story.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good tips in that story, which is why I want him to tell it on the channel. It's actually funny how me and you met because we met at the like when you came to help out at Fit Coach U, which that isn't the funny part. What's funny is how we became friends, which is Brandon Carter put us in an Airbnb together and we lived together for a month. My first month inside of New York, me and you lived together, and then that's how we were friends. It's not a normal way to just become friends with someone, but hey, it worked out.
Hey man, it's not like none of this is normal, man. Like none of this is normal, that like stuff just happens out here.
Exactly. So whenever we have a guest on the show, we let them pick the
take the lead role, kind of.
Yep. Yeah. We let them pick the topic, and we let you dive into it. Basically, like whoever picks the topic, like you run in the show. Like we obviously gonna pitch in, but you run in the show. So when you were talking about the topic that you wanted to pick, you wanted to speak on goals, but it seemed like you wanted to go in a few different directions. So the title that I picked is How to Set and Achieve Your Goals. Is that an accurate representation of what it is that you wanted to talk about, or is it something a little different?
Yeah, we can do that. Basically, what I wanted to talk about is how to go from there to here. You know what I mean? Like how you can go from where you are now to there.
Okay.
And like the process of that. Because I know like I was probably in like a deep position, down position, negative position, so to speak. But I was able to, like transition into like a period. Just this has so many blessings, so many. I'm grateful. You know what I mean? My life is been crazy. Right. So that's what I want to talk about. So the people who are out there and somebody who's watching the podcast and they may be where I was maybe like a year or so ago, I want to talk to them and tell them how I was able to come from that to this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now that's perfect. So one of the main questions that I get from people in that position is, this is exactly how they phrase the question. Like they watch all the content, they understand a lot of the stuff, like logically, theoretically, but they're having trouble getting themselves to like actually do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like so they have the goal in mind, but it's like they're just like, I can't get myself to do stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What is your advice in those situations?
So I would do exactly what Brandon likes to call us. Tell us it's the momentum cyclone. You know what I mean? Just take
Mhm.
one small action, then that small action that you take will give you a result, and that result will give you confidence. It's kind of like a spiral. You know what I mean? And it slowly keeps on getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So to speak, I'll give you an example. Um, so before I was here, I was playing like college sports. You know what I mean? That's an action. But prior to there, I was like a multitude of actions taken over a prolonged period of time, which got me to that level. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then through the level of college sports, I was able to take an action that put me into like the global realm. You know what I mean? That action. So from college sports gave me the confidence to maybe try my luck in like some global studies. So
Mm-hmm.
from there, I was able to study at like a prestigious, university. And then from studying at that prestigious university, I was able to say, okay, I have the confidence to maybe try something in New York on like a global scale. You see what I'm saying? Does that
Mm-hmm.
make sense?
Like your confidence was rooted in the other actions you were taking. But
Right.
let's bring it all the way back to before you were even like playing college. When when did you start playing football?
I started playing in 2005, man.
How old were
2005
you?
is old.
Huh?
how old were you?
I was like 7 or 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
So so that's an interesting situation because you were a child,
Hmm.
and you don't have much of a choice other than to show up to practice. And the beauty
Right.
of something like this, like sports, is that it teaches you to do something even though you don't want to do it
Right.
because you can't miss practice.
Hmm.
Do you have, or maybe that is the advice? Put yourself in a situation where you have no choice other than to show up and do something regardless. But do you have any examples in your life or examples that you've seen where you had to get yourself to do something that wasn't like there's no other option?
Mm, you just so I it just one step, like just one step at a time. Like you get overwhelmed with what you want to do, um, like on the holistic level. But if you just
Mhm.
break it down and compartmentalize, okay, I need to do this on this day, and that can be as simple as like writing an email, you know what I mean, or something like that. Writing an email, or maybe just walk into the gym. Maybe you don't want to go to the gym, just walk and go through the motions, or maybe you want to do a video, just like create a video that you don't even post. Like just get into the habit of doing something that you don't want to do, and that's basically what happens, and it just builds a muscle. You know what I mean? Then it's easy to start doing that type of stuff. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Yeah,
100%.
just take it day by day.
Mhm.
Just that's it. Today, okay. What can I do today that'll push me forward? Okay, move a little brick by brick, brick by brick, brick by brick, and you're good. Mm-hmm.
Mhm. It seems like a lot of people are definitely like in a habit of, like you're saying, get into like just get into a habit of doing something, like literally anything.
It
But it
doesn't need like, huh?
seems like most people are in a habit of not doing anything.
Yeah. So if you're in that habit, you got to break it quick. Like as soon as you see this video, break the habit, and that can be just walking around the block. Just switch up the pattern. Switch up the pattern, because it's like life is like a cause and effect relationship. You know what I mean? So if the cause of you not being where you need to be is basically what you're doing. You know what I mean? So let's switch it up and see where your life goes.
Yeah. Just to add on to what you were saying, K-Rock, like just because you were saying like, oh, it doesn't even matter if it's walking, it's just about building that muscle. You'll find that people who are often the people who are fit people are often the people who are the wealthy people and are often the people who are like good with girls, and it's like they're all good because that pattern, that muscle was built in the area of their life. And I feel like it just kind of the pattern kind of expressed itself in every other area. Like Brandon, are you?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, like Brandon. Like Brandon's like the major skill. You know what I mean? That's the priest, like the person I learned from. You learn, everybody learns from. But what I've learned over the course of what I've been able to observe is exactly how you said. You know what I mean? Once you're able to build up a skill set, you start to realize how it goes. You see what I'm saying? So you start to know what process in development you're in. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So let me elaborate on the processes of development. Okay, so we've got unconscious incompetence, meaning you have no idea what you don't know. You know what I mean? So with me, like with ClickFunnels before I came here, or me like Facebook ads before I came here, any of those things that you had no idea that you didn't know, where you're like, oh, one of those, you know that moment?
Yep.
Yeah. So then you become conscious of like, oh, okay. So, okay, if I'm like, if I'm somebody's teaching me how to run. Okay. So you bring your arm up. Oh, I didn't even know that's how you run. Because that's the first step. And then like, okay, so you say unconscious incompetence. The next step is conscious incompetence. And then you're like, okay, I know what I don't know. And now you're on that track to say, okay, I know what I don't know. So maybe I can work on that. You see what I'm saying? But you don't know what you don't know unless you try. And that's you get that feedback from the first step. You see, and that's with any skill, any skill set that you want to learn. What about you with Facebook ads, Miguel? Like, when's the first time you knew what a pixel was, or something like that? You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Brandon taught me. Like, I didn't know I was supposed to be doing any of that stuff, and then he taught me, and I was like, "Oh, I could have been doing all of this."
Yeah. See, and it's like that with everything. What about you, Sadiq? Do you have one of those things where it's like, oh, that aha, that eureka?
Yeah, like I do a lot of stuff on Instagram, and like I didn't really like at first a couple years ago I was like, damn, these people are balling. Like I wonder how the hell I was like, what the fuck? But then I did the research and I'm like, hey, there we go.
Yeah. You're like, Okay. So you moved from conscience incompetence, and then you move to the stage of conscience competence. You see what I'm saying? So Miguel can go in there and put a Facebook pixel in there and know exactly what's going on and be good. You know, sometimes he has to still like, oh, he may forget it. You see what I'm saying? Oh, I may forget to go to the gym. Oh, I may forget this is how I get results on Instagram this way. You know, you see what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah. So it starts there, and then you're kind of in that level. But if you keep on building that neural pathway, keep on, you'll build that neural pathway in the brain, and then sooner or later, you get to unconscious incompetence. Does that make sense? I mean, unconscious competence. Does that make sense?
Wait, what's unconscious? What's unconscious competence?
Competence?
Yeah.
So I can do this in my sleep. Have you ever heard that saying? I can do this in my sleep. It's because they can actually, you know what I mean? They're at the level of development that they can actually do that skill in their sleep. You know what I mean? Because they've practiced it so many times, it's built into their paradigm, it's built into their mind to do that. And then
sorry,
you can
cut you off. What
No.
Hey, man, I've heard of a lot of people who practice martial arts for like years. Like I heard a lot of them. They wake up from their dreams like mid kick, like literally fighting in their dreams, and then they'll wake themselves up because they're like kicking air.
Like that's what they do. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Yeah, and that's how you develop skills. You know, so that's and which you knowing that now, you know, okay, so they don't want to do something, you know, okay, that's cool. You know what I mean? You're at the, or they don't know how to do something. Okay, that's cool. You're at the unconscious and confident stage. You didn't even know that you didn't know, you know, you didn't even know that you wasn't even supposed to do this. And now you're cognizant of what stage you're in. Okay, I can do that. And now I can move to the conscious and confidence. Okay, I know what I don't know. Now let's fix it. Conscious competence, you fix it. Yeah, you keep on working, keep on building the habit. And then you get to unconscious incompetence, and it's easy. Smooth sailing. Just like a rocket ship.
So it's like four steps. It's unconscious incompetence, unconscious incompetence, conscious incompetence, conscious competence, and then the master and the karate kicking ass, head ass, and the unconscious competence. That's what's up.
Yeah. So and that's with any skill development. Even with doing these podcasts, you know, I'll learn stuff about this podcast whenever I'll rewatch it or something like that I didn't even know, you know.
Do you have any advice for picking the skill people should become competent in? Because a lot of these people ask vague questions like, I want to be an entrepreneur, but they're like unaware of like what they actually want to do. Like, it's a vague thing. It's like saying, I want to be a businessman, or I want to be a doctor, where those multiple fields in being a doctor. I want to be a lawyer. There's a lot of different lawyers, like stuff like. Do you have any advice in terms of picking the actual skill?
So the first advice, I got two things that I will probably do. The first thing is just get started doing something, you know what I mean? Just so you can get some feedback in general. You know, it doesn't matter. Like, I probably had a couple jobs that I didn't really like before I had this one, you know what I mean? But I was just getting feedback. You really don't know what you want to do unless you try some stuff out. So if somebody asks that question, I mean, or says like, I want to be an entrepreneur, but it's not too specific, at least you know where they are in the stage of growth or on that level. And then ask yourself, why? That's it, bro. Like, that's the question that can answer a lot of stuff. Okay, so I want to be an entrepreneur. Why? Okay, I want to be an entrepreneur because I want to make this amount of money. Why? I want to be an entrepreneur to make this amount of money so I can buy this. Why? I want to be an entrepreneur to make this much money so I can buy that. To do what? You see what I'm saying? And then you get to the root cause of it. And sometimes you figure out that the thing you want to be, you don't even need to become that to get it. Does that make sense?
You don't even need to become an entrepreneur to get that. Like,
yeah,
because you got to like the root of it, and you were like, oh, to get to the root of this shit, I could dig another hole.
Yeah.
Root of that bitch.
Yeah, like, I want to be an entrepreneur. Okay,
I think most people want to be an entrepreneur.
Huh?
I think a lot of people want to be an entrepreneur nowadays just because it got sexy.
Yeah, I don't know about all that. Like, yeah, it's just, see, and that's what you got to be kind of like, you know what I mean? It's just like self-awareness, you know, like, you gotta really do some, like, know yourself, you know. I've seen Brandon's life. It's not, you know what I mean? Like, it looks glamorous, you know, we travel all the time, you know, do a whole bunch of crazy stuff. I've seen, you know, like, you know what I mean? You've been a part of this. We live fairly well, you know what I mean? Good to, I know, to other people, but it costs, you know what I mean? There isn't like, there's a cost to the lifestyle you want, you know, there's no, it's just, there is no easy way, you know, there is no easy way. There's no, this is like zero sum. It's like a zero sum game.
Yeah.
You know, like,
not even just money costs. Like, I remember you were talking about how like you got to be like mindful of like all the stuff that comes with your goals. Because I remember when, like, the beginning of like January, we were traveling a ton, and I was traveling with you guys, and I was so tired because we kept changing time zones. We were busy the entire time. Like, what comes with it?
Yeah, like that is what comes with it. So here's the thing in life, you know what I mean, that I came to realize being in this environment or this space. You can have anything you want. Like, you can have anything you want. but
Mhm.
you can also have everything that comes with anything you want. Does that make sense?
To every action, there's a reaction.
Yeah, it's like, yo, if okay, you can ball, but you may have to put in some more work. You know, you have to work a little harder. You know, you may have to develop another skill. You may have to go talk to that person that you don't want to talk. You know, like it's yeah. So just make sure that what you want uh, is what you really want, and you can justify the opportunity cost. Yeah,
Bro,
That
man.
makes sense. I don't
yeah,
think it doesn't feel like it's like a perfect world where like whatever goal you have like isn't going to come with any like sort of hang up.
yeah. That's I mean that's what I thought. You know, I thought that's how it comes. So can I give you like an example? You know, that in my life that I've seen
Yeah, bro. Go
that
for
kind
it.
of like helped me shape this paradigm, because one of the things is like I don't like talking or giving people advice or anything like that without giving them some type of context of how I came up with the conclusion. You know, because it's
Mhm.
one of the things. That's one of the things I don't like. You know, if somebody tells me something, I'm gonna be like, okay, why? You know, like why? What brought you to this? So first example was, you know, prime example, me seeing this life, you know what I mean, living it, you know, seeing what it does to Brandon, seeing what it does to everybody. And I was like, okay, like this is hard, you know, if I'm gonna do this, I have to give up this and that. Um, but when I was in college, you know, playing sports, and this is what kind of threw me off. My head coach played for the Bengals, you know, and he had this gold chain that had NFL on it, which was beautiful. You know what I mean? And you just come to practice every day. You know, tell you to go hard, tell you all this stuff. But the thing that stuck with me was he used to walk with a limp. You
Oh,
see, like he literally had a limp. You know, like he had a permanent limp. Yeah, he played NFL. Yeah, he did all this stuff. But to get that, he sacrificed his body.
Mhm.
damn.
So you have to be cognizant of like what are you going to have to sacrifice to reach the goal you want to reach, and is it worth it to you? You know what I mean? Like to some people it's worth it, and to some people it's
Mhm.
not.
Yeah.
So yeah,
A lot of the times, like when I used to play lacrosse or some shit, I used to look at the coach, be like, "Nigga, fuck you, nigga." Tell me to
Mhm.
uh, like in the back of my mind, like my ego would say that whenever he would tell me to like do something, but like I feel like
mm-hmm.
to do with a damn limp, like I would have been like, I got, I gotta get it, like, like
Yeah,
you're not just talking, talking shit, you know.
yeah,
He's serious, man.
yeah. He's serious,
What's
man.
what's super interesting about this is that in Think and Grow Rich, there's a part in there where it's like one of the things he has you do is he has you write down. I forget exactly what it's called, but it's like a statement of intent or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
where you say the how much money you are going to make, the date that amount of money is going to start being made by you,
Mm-hmm.
how you're going to make it, and then the craziest part that I wasn't expecting is he also has you write down what you're willing to give up in order to get that money. And you have and he's like, say this once in the morning and once before you go to sleep every single night. So you know every single time I am willing to give this, and this up in order to get that.
Mm-hmm. That's fine. Like that's actually true. You know what I mean? From my life, I haven't seen anybody get something and not have to give something up for it. You know, like that's true. You gotta give something up.
Isn't there like a universal law called the law of equivalent exchange, or
Absolutely.
is that just from anime? Am I tripping?
No,
Not
that is a universal.
yeah, it's a universal law.
Okay, I'm trying to make sure I don't watch too much anime, and that's just from Full Metal Alchemist.
Nah, you're not the only one watching that list. But just to add on to what you're saying, I feel like you looking at that the first thing in the morning and the first thing at night, like
Mm-hmm.
your brain is most malleable during those times because that's when you're still kind of in the subconscious realm because
Mm.
you're either going to sleep or you're just coming from sleep, and like that's when you have the chance to kind of rewire your subconscious a little bit, and like you rewind your subconscious at those key times. Plus, the first thing you see that shit in the morning, you know what time it is. Like that shit is key. What you just said, thinking real rich shit.
Wow, and then I want to add on to Siddiqui what you said about that, you know, RAS.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So basically, you know, if we're talking about a car, oh, look at that Tesla. We start talking about a Tesla, and then all of a sudden you start seeing all the Teslas in the world. You know what I mean? Oh, that Tesla, the Tesla. No, that's because like that Tesla is imprinted into your RAS right now. So it's in your conscious thought. So you're able to see that type of stuff. So one of the things that like writing down your goals and like reviewing them on a daily basis, twice, you know, 3 times a day, is it gets you activated, you know? It lets you know, keeps you on track, you know, it lets you know what you can do, what you can do. And yeah, so that's what I mean, my goals are written down, you know, so I think everybody here has goals written down.
We do.
You have your goals written down?
Me?
Yeah.
Okay.
John, Miguel?
No, because like last time we talked, like I wouldn't be surprised if the only thing on that list was become enlightened.
Yeah.
But like, was that true?
Nah.
I was about to say.
Definitely, it's definitely there, but it's not the only thing.
Okay. Okay, K-Rock, I have a question for you.
Hey man.
I'm curious if you believe, because I have a like I feel like science and quote unquote pseudoscience like should not be separated. I feel like they're one and the same. What do you think about the idea that the reticular activation system is like the science side of everything, and there's also like the esoteric side of things where you're actually manifest, like for the car example, like that car actually wasn't there. You're just putting that car in frame of reference now because that is something that you're focusing on, is something that you want. So you're bringing that into your reality more and more and more because it's something that you want until you actually get the thing.
Man, that is actually a hard question. Like I've been asking myself this the whole time, you know. And this is basically why we're doing this type of stuff is it's like what is life? A huge experiment and a question of whys and hows, you know. So from my perspective and my paradigm, I don't know how it happens. You know, I don't know like the intricate, like how it actually happens, and I don't know if it's like rah, you know, woo woo, or is it hardback science? I really don't know, man. I really don't know. I just feel like all I know is if you focus on something for an allotted amount of time and have actions that go towards and like bringing that into your reality, you get it. You know, and it like and the thing about it is the way you get it is kind of weird, man. I've seen like weird circumstances where I've had like
Give an example. Give an example.
It is some weird circumstance. I can't give him the example because like this goal is still the goal is still
in the works. Okay.
Yeah, it's still into fruition, but the way that it was like progressed was kind of like a needle in a haystack.
Mm-hmm. Like it's like of all things, of all times, of all like really,
yes.
Like really, like seriously.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I don't know the science behind it, but just set the intention, write it down, and then just take actions toward it on a daily basis or a seconds basis.
How many goals do you have?
You say how many goals do I have written down?
Yep.
I want to find my journal. I don't know exactly like the number, and it's not like a set of like, oh, I want to do this, that. It's more of like a holistic. This is how I want my life to be, and I want it because of that, because of this. This is how I want to do it, and like That's how it is. You see? Yeah. So yours is probably structured in a different way than mine. How many goals do you have, Miguel?
I have exactly 5, but I'm definitely a much more methodical person.
Yeah. So maybe I should start doing. You know what I mean? Maybe I should do what you do. We'll talk. You know what I mean? We'll talk about it. But
I got it from Grant Cardone. Like he was saying how he wrote down 5 goals every morning and night for years, and he made them the most ridiculous goals ever because he felt like he was always going to come up short, so he might as well just make it ridiculous. So even if he comes up short, it's still cool.
Did he wind up like reaching them?
Huh?
Did he reach those goals?
I mean, I'm sure one of them probably like I want $1 billion in real estate, and I think he has like somewhere between 7 and 800 million. So he's close.
Yeah,
He's close.
he'll hit it. You know.
Have you ever heard of the practice where it's like, like map out what you want, like your perfect day to look like, or like what you want, like your whole like future, like map that out, like describe every single like little detail. Have you heard of that, and have you done it?
I've heard of the practice. And like the thing about me is I've done it before, but it's starting to change because I'm getting exposed to different things. You see what I'm saying? So it was like, okay, I want a hardwood floor, piano, classical music, Beethoven's Fifth Symphony, like Miami condo, looking out on the deck, seeing the water with some good friends. I'll call them up. They come to, like that type of stuff. But it's starting to change. Like it's starting to change just because I've experienced, like I'm conscious of what I can do. You know what I mean? Like earlier this month, like Brandon, we were at the mansion. We're at the RSD mansion. So that reality was a reality that I wanted before I got here. So yeah, I have that mapped out, but it'll change.
Yeah. What about you, Zeke? Have you ever done that?
Could you repeat the? Have you ever done this?
Have you ever mapped out like your entire day? Pay attention. I'm just. Have you ever, I'm joking. Have you ever like mapped out what like the perfect day in the future looks like to you?
Yeah, like I do it all the time, and sometimes I switch up. I switch up the days just so my mind is more. It's the idea of where I want to be. It's like a not a general idea, but like I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be fucking enlightened. I'm gonna have this amount of money. I'm gonna have X females in my life, but I envision like different kind of scenarios. Like it won't just be one day over and over and over. It'll be like, okay, let's say I'm in this reality where I have all these things, and one day I go to the amusement park, and then I'll just map out how everything will go at the amusement park. And let's say another day I'm going to the beach or something, or another day I'm just chilling at the crib. Like I'll just get used to my mind being in not my I'm getting used to my consciousness being in that baller state in so many different realities and in so many different scenarios that it kind of just integrates into me because I've seen it in so many different ways. Although one of them, like having one over and over and over, is good just for reps, repetitiveness, and just getting it locked into your subconscious. I feel like doing it on like a bunch of different scenarios. That show would just have you like whoa, because and creativity and shit.
Yeah. I like that.
How far in the future are you looking?
How far in the future am I looking? It depends. Sometimes it's not that far. Sometimes it's a month in the future. Sometimes it's a year in the future. It just depends. You?
Have you guys ever tried to like?
What about you?
Oh, me, I always look. Always look like maybe like a month in the future. Mainly because like I'm about to move, so like I have like immediate things that I'm trying to work on. And like other stuff, it's like I picture myself for whatever reason. I always picture myself looking exactly the same, but like I'm just doing different I'm not doing this now. I'm doing it in my head.
Yeah.
I hear you. I hear you, man. And I feel like it's important that a part of you that's right here, right now, is also like somehow in correlation with the part of you and that future self that you're visualizing. Because if you can't have any sort of connection, and that you that's in the future is so different from the current you, then subconsciously you'll just be like, ah, this shit isn't me, and you'll just kind of be lying to yourself. Like the subconscious knows all, and consciously you'll be like, yeah, I'm doing this, but subconsciously you'll be like, this bullshit. But if there's a little part of that you that's right now and that you that's in the future that's the same, like, oh my fucking hair is gonna be the same. I'm gonna rock the same earrings, or like just anything. I'm gonna rock the same whatever ring on my finger. Then like your subconscious will be like, okay, there's a similarity between this me now and this me in the future, so that shit, it must be true.
That makes
And
sense.
the subconscious only understands truth, and it'll see truth, and then it'll see that ideal reality, and then it will start to bond them both, and then and then that reality that you want, it'll just be so much easier to manifest. Or I don't know the science behind it, but you know. Yeah.
No, like that's. I think that's true.
Yeah.
Yo, I'm curious what you guys think of this. I've heard multiple quantum physicists say that whenever you imagine the future or the past, you are not imagining it. You are like literally looking at a different like parallel reality. Like you're literally like you're tapping into a reality that actually exists in that exact moment, and you're literally just looking at it. Same thing with the past. Like you only exist like you know they say like the only thing that actually exists like is the
current.
present. Like, is this current moment right now? Like your consciousness is just embodied in this exact moment right now. They were saying that if you think about the past, you were literally looking like you're actually like you're not imagining it. You're literally like tapping into a past timeline. And if you look into the future, you're actually like what you're imagining actually exists. Like that version of reality that you were imagining in your head legitimately exists. And you are in a sense closer to that reality if you are even capable of imagining that particular reality.
I fucks with that. And
it's true.
And even according, I feel like even according to science, like more mainstream accepted science, wherever you put your energy, that's where, I mean, wherever you put your attention, that's where energy is going to go. So if you put your attention onto that reality, energy, like even if scientifically it can't be written down on paper of exactly how that happens now, just think about it. Energy is being sent towards that reality, and it's kind of energy, reality. More energy you send, the closer that reality gets to you until they become one. So,
are quantum physicists like laughed at by mainstream science?
No,
what does
I feel like
what does the rest of the community think about them?
I feel like sometimes mainstream allows a little bit of it to be sprinkled in, like maybe like the basics of the law of attraction, like
but
be
not
positive.
like quantum physics in general, like because quantum physicists like all they really like they don't even call it law of attraction. They're just like, yo, like consciousness, there's a single creator, parallel realities. Like they're the ones who are like, yo, black holes are like you can go to a parallel reality if you go through that. We just can't go through it yet because we'll die. They're the ones that figured that out. And most people believe that. So I don't know if quantum physics, like the quantum physics realm, is like kind of laughed at or not.
The niggas that be going to Harvard and Yale and shit become quantum physicists a lot of the time. So I don't think it's. I think that it's just not talked about a lot, but it is not laughed at. Like it's just not talked about, but it's not laughed at. You know.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't think they have. I don't think they can even understand a quantum physicist. Like I can't. You know what I mean? So like you have to have a certain level of intellect to even understand a quantum physicist. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So if you're like studying those those disciplines, like there's going to be a barrier of communication. You see it like that's what I'm thinking about. There's going to be a barrier of communication unless they're taking all the information they have and they're transmitting it into like layman's terms.
That makes perfect sense.
Most people, they can't handle K-Rock. They can't handle them because like their brain will just get smoked. But
No, man, I'm not. Houseway. Did you say houseway?
but luckily, most of the people watching this podcast, my co-host Miguel and I, understand his divine, enlightened information.
Thank you, man. I just really thought that was just like I don't know if it's divine or like you know what I mean. That's just yeah. I think I mean I could be wrong.
Let me rephrase. His real shit ass information.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, man.
Oh, yeah, for sure. There's some real shit. That's for sure.
But I was just so like to be honest, whenever you was telling me about like quantum physicists and them coming up with things, I kind of think about how anything comes into like fact in life. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's like a theory, then there's test, then it's peer reviewed, and then it's accepted in mainstream.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying? So there's a process there, like in that initial phase, the things that are being said may not be accepted because there's not enough sufficient evidence to back it up. But as soon as there's a lot of sufficient evidence to back it up, then you know what I mean. Now we're talking. But the thing with quantum physics is like, how do you measure it? You know what I mean? What makes this true? Like how do we know the law of attraction is true? What's the metric? So it's just there's a lot of questions that you got to ask to solve those. But I think it'll be solved.
Because we're literally just going based off of people's experiences, and there's a lot of like testimonials for it. But I guess until someone is capable of going into a black hole and bringing the other version of themselves back through it.
Mm-hmm.
Look, this is me from a different parallel reality. Look,
yeah.
He's from Earth.
Yeah, shit, man. But I feel
wild.
like what you said, bro?
That'd just be wild. Continue.
I would be surprised. I would not be surprised. Promise. I would not be surprised.
I think for the amount of testimonials, I think we have enough evidence because of the amount of testimonials.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I mean, like most stuff in our world is theory. Like I'm pretty sure gravity is still considered a theory.
It is.
And like it falls to the ground. But like I guess we don't have like the any way to like really prove it. We're like, well, like math, but like
yeah.
but like yeah, it's a theory.
Yeah, math is a social construct. All of
we
it
invented new stuff is like yeah, like almost everything is like human made.
Yeah, we invented it all.
Man, humans are weird.
So
all right. Someone was asking about like, okay, how did you feel when you were in college and you were thinking of stopping that crap because you knew you could do something else like on your own? Where was your mind in that moment?
Who, me?
Huh? Yeah.
I was mixed, you know what I mean? I was mixed just because of like social aspect. Like the only drawback I had was external, you know. Internally I was like, yeah, I got this, you know, like I know what I can do. The only thing that I'll have to like mitigate or not really or worry about was just the social what do you call it, stigma that comes with like being a dropout, you know. But how do you mitigate that? You get results. You know what I mean? So if you're thinking about dropping out, just try to get some results. You know what I mean? And like fast as possible. Sometimes you'll have to wait, you know, to get those results. But if you can drop out and then show people that you can make money with a business or make money in a different way and like sustain your lifestyle, then you win. You know, because you win. You know, like I feel like that. And then you can always go back. You know, like college isn't going anywhere. I don't think so.
happily take your money no matter how old you are.
Yeah, like it's just
Mhm.
like they can have your money. You know, college. Do you
College
even like?
ain't nowhere, man.
Huh?
College ain't going nowhere. Like
Yeah.
that business opportunity or whatever thing might be, it might leave, but college ain't leaving, man. College.
Yeah, you know, college is there, man. And I would tell the viewers or anybody who has a question to read into college and where it came from. You know what I mean? Where did this system of education come from? And you can read that in a book called The Evolution of Everything. Then you'll learn that like college was modeled after the Prussian model of education. You know, and then you go into like war, industrial revolution, all these things. So it's just do your own research. You know, think for yourself. Do your own research and think for yourself, and present an argument. Present like whenever you're thinking about dropping out, like try to prove yourself wrong with dropping out.
Hmm.
Did you tell
Try to,
anyone? Your parents?
no, I didn't intentionally like want to drop out. You know what I mean? I left my computer in China somewhere. I left my
You
computer
dropped
in
out on
China, man.
accident?
Yeah, man, I left my computer in China and like I didn't have anything for my freshman year, so I was like, well, we gotta figure it out, you know, figure
Oh,
it
shit.
out.
Do you think you'd be doing like where you're at now had you like still had your laptop?
No,
That is wild. Like that is the craziest. That's the first time me and you have ever gone over that.
yeah,
That's crazy to think about. Like if you still had your laptop, me and you would not know each other. You never would have met Brandon. You would never would have started flying all over the place. You would still be in college.
this is crazy, man. I'm telling you, life is crazy,
Everything happens as it should, man.
right,
Even
man?
some fuck shit happens, that could be your ass ending up working with some bowler dudes, and if you leave some shit in China,
Oh
uh,
well,
don't
Be
feel
happy about it.
sad.
Be happy.
yeah,
Like
Yeah.
if you leave some shit in China, be like, yes,
Yes.
yes,
everything's about to go crazy right now.
yes. Fuck school, fuck school. I'm just excuse my friends.
I was talking to Max Maxon the other day. And I was talking with him and his dad, and he was saying how like, cause he used to be a professional race car driver. And he said that every single time there was something wrong with the car, those were the races that they won every single time. Like, and they would get excited whenever anything was wrong with the car.
Wow.
Like they'd be like, "Yes, we're about to win!" And every single time the car was running perfect, they pretty much like never got first place.
Yellow.
Mm-hmm.
So serious, bro.
Right. You know how I like to think life works.
How?
You know when you were little and you used to play with those little cars, you know what I mean, those little trucks or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
and you had to pull them back,
Those. I fucked
and
up
then
my grandma's kitchen floor with those. I got
yeah,
pretty mad.
you pull them back, and then they shoot forward, bro. That's exactly how you got to think about it. You know, if you have any opposition or any like misfortune, hey man, I'm just getting ready for this launch.
That's a super fact, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just getting ready for this launch. Oh, that had to happen. Oh, cool. And then nothing affects you. You know, like you're like, oh, that was supposed to happen. You know, cool. So yeah, I didn't.
My bad.
Hmm?
I think that most people fall into is that something bad happens and then they dwell on it and think that the world is attacking them and that they'll never succeed, and then they miss out on whatever opportunity was waiting on the other side of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would get at it. You got to have a short memory.
Because imagine if you left your laptop and you just started dwelling on it and you just like, well, I guess I just have to work until like I get a new laptop and then I'll start college back up. Like imagine if that's what you did instead.
I wouldn't be, you know what I mean? I wouldn't be here.
You just dropped out and just started working a normal job like that. Like I feel like those are the two things that the average person would have done.
Yeah, no, I didn't do that, man. Like I just took whatever cards I got dealt in my life. I just played them. You know, if like You know, I wanted to stay in college. I would have figured out a way, you know, to do what I want. You know, it's just like I didn't drop out because like I wanted to be like labeled a a dropout. Like like I left my computer. I was crumbling. Like I was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to go to school if I don't have a computer? I'm like, oh my god, everything's gone. And I just stepped over into a different reality.
Oh, damn, that's crazy. You can't even like go through school without a laptop.
I mean, you can, but like, come on, man. You leave your laptop, man. Hey, I believe in the signs, man. That was a sign for me to say, okay, man. Hey, let's see. Let's do some other stuff.
Respect the signs.
Huh?
Respect the signs.
Yeah, respect it. Like, but if and when we say like respect the signs, I don't know if it's just me. You know what I mean? But usually when I make a decision internally, I'll feel a certain way about the decision. You know. So if you feel like at peace with the decision that you're making, just make it. But if you feel like, do not do it. Like, do not do it. So, yeah.
Yo, intuition is real. So many people don't listen to that. Like that was big. Like your intuition is like smarter. Like that's like you tapping into something that like none of us will ever like really understand until like something like complete like it's just something we're just not gonna understand. But for whatever reason, like that gut feeling knows all.
Yeah. I mean that's the reason why you, me, Siddiqui, and everybody here are still able to watch and listen to humanity. You know what I mean? Hey, what if you had a gut feeling that the Cheetahs were coming out tonight and you didn't listen? And then you did. Like, you know what I mean? So whoever listened to that feeling, or us, all right, look, Miguel, this is gonna be crazy. I'm not trying to like mess with anybody. I don't know about you. I'm from the South, man. Middle Passage, you know. Harriet Tubman had a gut feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And there were some people who were like, yo, this is the way out. Internally, they felt, okay, this is the way out. We gonna take a risk. They took that gut feeling. And now look, like this is how we are. Like that's my logic behind it. It's like, yo, like listen to that, you know, like that's actually saved lives. I could be wrong though, you know.
No, you're 100% right, and I think that's beautiful to leave off on. Like, trust your gut through everything. Like, listen to that. Like, shut your mind off and listen to your gut.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, man, this was a beautiful episode. I appreciate you, Keyshawn Johnson Sanders, for being on the podcast, man. Where can people find you?
People can find me at Keyshawn Johnson Sanders on Instagram. And that's usually what I'm on. You know, I don't really do a ton of social media, but, you know, you can hit me up if like the podcast was cool and you got some more questions. I'm trying to help you out, you know, like I like it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That'll also be in the description below if you have no idea how to spell Keyshawn Johnson Sanders, because it is a long name. So, yeah, man, always ending so awkwardly.
No, man. Hey, man. I appreciate you all, man. Like, yo, like this helped me out. You know, like, thank you.
We'll get K-Rock on here again one of these days.
K-Rock for Keyshawn or K-Rock?
Hey, man. I've had a multitude of nicknames. You know, my birth name is Keyshawn Johnson Sanders, but you know, I may even change that. What is a name? You know, it's just what humans identify me as. But you can call me as Keyshawn Johnson Sanders. I like that. You know, I like that. I just play. Yeah, it's whatever you want. I got it all.
Call him K Sizzle.
K Spice.
Yo, they can give me a name, man.
All right. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Catch us next week. We'll be here. And yeah, peace out. Brain blast.
Brain blast.